Now I am going to discuss the important points of work, power and energy. Coming to the work, it is the product of force and displacement when they are in same direction. In this diagram, force and displacement are in same direction. So you can write the work done in this case as the product of force and displacement, F into S, because force and displacement are in same direction. Here force and displacement are separated by an angle theta. So here, according to definition, force and displacement must be in same direction. So if you take the component of force in the direction of displacement, if you take component of force in the direction of displacement, F cos theta, and perpendicular to S bar, the component is F sin theta. So we can write work done W is equal to, here F cos theta and S are in same direction. This we can write as Fs cos theta. Here F and S are vector quantities. We know that dot product between the vectors A bar and B bar is AB cos theta. So you can write work done as the dot product between force and displacement. In above two cases, the force is constant. Now, if you take the applied force is variable, here observe the applied force is not constant. Here it is variable from x1 to x2. For a small displacement dx, the force applied is F. Then work done for small displacement, we can write dW is equal to F into dx. Here F and dx are in same direction. If F and dx are in different directions, then we have to write this as F dx cos theta. To calculate total work done, we have to integrate on both sides. When you integrate on both sides, integral of dW is W is equal to integral of F into dx. And you have to write the limits. Here work is done from x1 to x2. So starting point you have to write as lower limit x1 and the final point you have to write as upper limit x2. This is the expression to calculate work done when the force is variable. And if theta is also variable, you have to write this in vector form, like W is equal to integral of F bar dot ds bar. Okay. Here F bar is along x-axis Fx I cap, along y-axis Fy j cap, along z-axis Fz k cap, and displacement ds bar along x-axis we can write dx I cap, and along y-axis we can write this as dy j cap, and along z-axis dz k cap. At total work done, W is equal to integral of F bar dot ds bar. So I cap coefficients, when you multiply, you will get Fx dx. Next step, if you take y components, Fy dy, z components, Fz dz, and the limits, suppose along x-axis it is from x1 to x2, you have to write from x1 to x2, and along y-axis y1 to y2. along z axis z1 to z2. Like this you can write in 3 dimension. To do the problems of work, we have to be thorough with the energy concept. Capacity to do work is the energy possessed by a body. How much energy we have, we can able to do only that much amount of work. So energy is the capacity to do work. There are different types of energies like mechanical energy, electrical energy, nuclear energy, etc. Coming to the mechanical energy, there are two types of mechanical energies. One is potential energy. Second one is kinetic energy. Coming to the first one, potential energy. Work done against the conservative force stored in the system as the form of potential energy. Here we have the gravitational force and electrostatic force etc. are as the conservative forces. So work done against the gravitational force stored in the system as in the form of gravitational potential energy. Here a block of mass is on the earth initially. It experiences gravitational force vertically downward, mg, and it is displaced vertically upward via height h. Then work done by gravitational force W is equal to Fs cos theta. F is here mg, S means h, cos theta, angle between mg and h is 180 degrees, cos 180 minus 1. So work done is equal to minus mgh. Here potential energy is work done against the gravitational force. Against represented with negative sign, minus of minus plus m g h. It is the potential energy possessed by the body when it is at a height h. Means how much work it is done against the gravitational force that is stored in it as in the form of potential energy. Means at this height its potential energy is mgh. A spring or spring constant k is at its natural length. By applying a force, it is elongated by distance x. Elongation is x. Here, when we apply the applied force towards right side, restoring force experienced by it is left side. సో మనం ఎప్పుడైనా స్ప్రింగ్స్ని సడన్గా రిలీజ్ చేస్తే అది ఎప్పుడు ఆ పొజిషన్ నుంచి రీగెయిన్ అవుతుంది. సో ఈ రీగెయిన్ అవడానికి రీజన్ ఏంటి? రీస్టోరింగ్ ఫోర్స్, దట్ ఈస్ k ఇంటూ ఎక్స్. ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆపోజిట్ టు ద డైరెక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ఎలాంగేషన్. ఎలాంగేషన్ ఏ డైరెక్షన్లో ఉంది? రైట్ సైడ్ ఉంది. రీస్టోరింగ్ ఫోర్స్ ఎలా ఉంది? లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ ఉంది. సో వర్క్ డన్ అగైన్స్ ద రీస్టోరింగ్ ఫోర్స్ స్టోర్డ్ ఇన్ ద సిస్టమ్ యాజ్ ఇన్ ద ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ ఎలాస్టిక్ పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ. సో వర్క్ డన్ బై ద restoring force calculate చేయండి. Work done by restoring force W is equal to Fr into dx, because this restoring force is variable. For a small elongation dx at a position x, restoring force we can write as Fr is equal to kx. At a position x, displacement is dx. And restoring force is in opposite direction to the displacement. So substitute, it is minus kx into dx. This is small work done. To calculate the total work done, you have to integrate on both sides. Integral of minus kx dx. You are going to get this as minus half kx square. Now this work done again is the elastic force stored in the system as in the form of potential energy. So potential energy is work done against elastic force, that is minus W is equal to minus of minus, you will get plus, which is equal to half kx square. This is the potential energy stored in the spring when it is elongated by distance x. Suppose it is stretched from x1 to x2, then the amount of work done to elongate the spring from x1 to x2 you can write as change in potential energy. Work done by external force is always equal to final potential energy minus initial potential energy, which is equal to half k into x2 square minus x1 square. Because at elongation x1, initial potential energy is half k x1 square, and at elongation x2, final potential energy is half k x2 square. So when a spring is stretched from x1 to x2, then the work done is equal to half k into x2 square minus x1 square. The second type of mechanical energy is kinetic energy. It is the energy possessed by a body by virtue of its motion. For example, here a body of mass m moves with velocity v, then kinetic energy of the body represented as k is equal to half mv square. This is the kinetic energy. When a body is at motion, it also has momentum, that is the product of mass and velocity. Then we can relate the kinetic energy and momentum, because there is no kinetic energy when there is no momentum to the body. Now this we can write, if we substitute v value as p by m, this we can also write as p square by 2. This is the relation between kinetic energy and momentum. When we are doing the problems that are related to kinetic energy and momentum, we can use the relation k is equal to p square by 2m, where p is the momentum represented as the product of mass and velocity. Work energy theorem. Work done by all types of forces is equal to change in kinetic energy. Here, when you have taken an object and this object is moving forward, such that whatever may be the types of forces that are doing work here, total work done by all the types of forces, like work done by conservative forces, work done by non-conservative forces, work done by pseudo forces, etc. Whatever may be the types of forces it experiences, work done by all the types of forces is equal to change in kinetic energy, delta K. Means final kinetic energy minus initial. If initial velocity of the body is u and final velocity is v, you can write this as half m into v square minus u square. This is the work energy theorem. For example, when the body is moving forward due to the applied force and it experiences frictional force small f and displacement of the body is s. Imagine applied force constant and frictional force also constant. Then you can write work done by the applied force F into S, because force and displacement both are in same direction, and work done by the frictional force minus Fs, because both are in opposite direction. Theta is 180 degrees, cos 180 minus 1 is equal to change in kinetic energy, that is final kinetic energy of the body minus initial kinetic energy. So like this we can apply the work energy theorem at any time when you are doing the problems. Law of conservation of mechanical energy. Mechanical energy is constant. When this mechanical energy is constant, when there is no work done by external force. Means here we know that total mechanical energy of the system E is equal to sum of the potential and kinetic energies. When there is a work done by external force, then there is a change in energy of the system, that is equal to delta U plus delta K. Means that this change in total energy may be due to change in potential or kinetic. But here we know that there is a change in potential energy when work is done only against conservative forces. And here there is no work done by the external force. Means when there is no external force, means there is no work done, means change in energy is 0, that is equal to delta U plus delta K. Means when internal forces are conservative, we know that energy is constant, delta E is 0. Therefore, due to internal forces, potential energy may be changes into kinetic energy, or kinetic energy may be changes into potential energy, but total energy remains constant. A stone of mass m is projected upward with velocity u. Initially, the total energy is in the form of kinetic energy, which is half m u square. As it moves upwards, work is done against the gravitational force, which is a conservative force. And when it reaches to the highest point, total energy is in the form of potential energy. If you take maximum height attained is h, then at maximum height the potential energy is mgh. Here observe, is the law of conservation of mechanical energy is applicable for this case or not? Observe here, this body is doing work against only one force. What is that? Gravitational force, which is a conservative force. So here internal force is a conservative force. Next, coming to the external force. Are there any external forces on the system? There is no external force. So total mechanical energy of the system will be remains constant. Means at every point the energy of the stone remains constant. So total energy at the bottom is in the form of kinetic energy. When it reaches to the maximum height, this total converted into potential energy. Means we can write total kinetic energy at the bottom half mu square is equal to potential energy at the highest point, where velocity is equal to 0. Similarly, reverse also. When we drop a body from a certain height, then total potential energy at the highest point is equal to kinetic energy at the bottom. At any point in between the highest point and the bottom, the energy is in the form of both potential as well as kinetic energy. For example, if you take a point here, at this point the height is small h and velocity of the body is v, then you can also write this is equal to, at this point potential energy is mg into small h and kinetic energy is half m v square. So like this we can apply the law of conservation of mechanical energy. Before going to do the problems of law of conservation of mechanical energy, you have to verify whether there is any work done by the external force or not. And again, second one, you have to check whether the internal forces are conservative or not. If these two conditions are satisfied, then you can apply law of conservation of mechanical energy. Coming to the applications of work power energy. First application లో ఒక యూనిఫామ్ రాడ్ ఏబీని హారిజాంటల్ సర్ఫేస్ మీద ప్లేస్ చేసాం. మాస్ ఆఫ్ ద రాడ్ క్యాపిటల్ M అండ్ లెంగ్త్ ఆఫ్ ద రాడ్ క్యాపిటల్ L. ఇలా ఎక్స్టెండెడ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ తీసుకున్నప్పుడు మనం పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ ఫార్ములా లేదా కైనెటిక్ ఎనర్జీ ఫార్ములా అప్లై చేసేటప్పుడు ఈ ఫార్ములాస్ పాయింట్ మాస్కి అప్లై అవుతాయి. కాబట్టి టోటల్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ని ఒక పాయింట్ మాస్గా ఎజ్యూమ్ చేసుకుని ప్రాబ్లం చేయాలి. ఇలా పాయింట్ మాస్గా ఎజ్యూమ్ చేసుకున్నప్పుడు టోటల్ మాస్ని మనం ఎక్కడ ఎజ్యూమ్ చేసుకోవాలి? సెంటర్ ఆఫ్ గ్రావిటీ దగ్గర ఒక పాయింట్ మాస్లో ఎజ్యూమ్ చేసుకోవాలి. సో హారిజాంటల్ సర్ఫేస్ మీద ఉన్నప్పుడు సెంటర్ ఆఫ్ గ్రావిటీ is on the surface. Height of the center of gravity is 0. So you can write initial potential energy of the rod is 0. mg into h. H value 0. mgh is 0. సో ఈ పొజిషన్ నుంచి రాడ్ ఏ సపోర్ట్తో థీటా యాంగిల్ టర్న్ అయింది. సో ఇలా టర్న్ చేయడానికి మనం ఎంత వర్క్ చేసామనేది ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయాలి. సో ఈ పొజిషన్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ ఎంత క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయాలి. ఇక్కడ ఎంజీ సేమే. మనం ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయాల్సింది ఏంటి, ఎర్త్ సర్ఫేస్ నుంచి రాడ్ ఎంత హైట్ రేజ్ అయింది. సో అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి, థీటా యాంగిల్ రొటేట్ అయిన తర్వాత సెంటర్ ఆఫ్ గ్రావిటీ పొజిషన్ ఇది. హారిజాంటల్ సర్ఫేస్ నుంచి ఎంత హైట్ రేజ్ అయింది వర్టికల్గా, హెచ్. ఈ హెచ్ని ఎలా ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయొచ్చు, టోటల్ లెంగ్త్ ఆఫ్ ద రాడ్ ఎల్ అనుకుంటే ఎండ్ ఏ నుంచి సెంటర్ ఆఫ్ గ్రావిటీ వరకు డిస్టెన్స్ ఎంత అవుతుంది, L/2. రిజాల్వ్ చేసుకుంటే ఎడ్జసెంట్ L/2 కాస్ థీటా అవుతుంది, ఆపోజిట్ L/2 sin theta అవుతుంది. సో ఫైనల్ పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ ఆఫ్టర్ రొటేషన్ ఈజ్ mg into h value L/2 sin theta. Work done by external agent is always final potential energy minus initial potential energy. That is mg L/2 into sin theta. This is the work done by external agent when the rod is rotated through an angle theta about the point A from the horizontal position. ఒకవేళ మన రాడ్ని హారిజాంటల్ నుంచి వర్టికల్ పొజిషన్కి లిఫ్ట్ చేసాం అనుకోండి, ఎంత యాంగిల్ టర్న్ అవుతుంది, థీటా 90 degrees. సో థీటా 90 సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేస్తే sin 90 వాల్యూ ఎంత 1. అంటే ఒకవేళ రాడ్ని హారిజాంటల్ పొజిషన్ నుంచి వర్టికల్గా లిఫ్ట్ చేస్తే వర్క్ డన్ ఎంత అవుతుంది, mg L/2. Coming to the second application. A bob of mass m is suspended from rigid support with the help of a string of length L. సో లోయెస్ట్ పాయింట్ని మనం ఒక రిఫరెన్స్ లైన్తో రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఈ పొజిషన్ నుంచి బాబ్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ సస్పెన్షన్ దగ్గర థీటా యాంగిల్ చేసేలా టర్న్ చేశాను. సో ఇక్కడ థీటా యాంగిల్ టర్న్ చేసినప్పుడు బాబ్ హెచ్ హైట్ రేజ్ అయింది. ఇక్కడ మనం ఒక హారిజాంటల్ లైన్ని డ్రా చేస్తే మనకి ఒక రైట్ యాంగిల్ ట్రయాంగిల్ ఫామ్ అయింది. సో రైట్ యాంగిల్ ట్రయాంగిల్లో హైపోటెన్యూస్ L. రిజాల్వ్ చేసుకుంటే ఎడ్జసెంట్ టు థీటా ఎంత వస్తుంది, L cos theta. Opposite side L sin theta. Here initially if you take height from the reference line as 0, initial potential energy of the bob is 0. mgh, here h value 0. So coming to the final potential energy mgh. So reference line నుంచి ఎంత హైట్ రేజ్ అయింది, h. ఈ h వాల్యూ దేనికి ఈక్వల్, అబ్జర్వ్ చేయండి, టోటల్ లెంగ్త్ ఆఫ్ ద బాబ్ L, దిస్ లెంగ్త్ ఈజ్ L cos theta. సో h ఎంత అవుతుంది, డిఫరెన్స్ L minus L cos theta. That you can write as L into 1 minus cos theta. So here mg into h is equal to L into 1 minus cos theta. Now work done against gravitational force or work done by external agent is final potential energy minus initial potential energy, which is equal to mg L into 1 minus cos theta. This is the work done against the gravitational force. Suppose ఒకవేళ మీకు ఇనీషియల్గా బాబు థీటా 1 పొజిషన్లో ఉంది వర్టికల్ నుంచి, అలాగే ఫైనల్గా బాబు వర్టికల్ నుంచి థీటా యాంగిల్ చేసింది అనుకోండి, అప్పుడు ఎలా రాస్తాం, ఇనీషియల్ పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ ఈజ్ mg L into 1 minus cos theta 1. ఫైనల్ ఎంత అవుతుంది అప్పుడు, mg L into 1 minus cos theta 2. Work done against the gravity here is final potential energy minus initial. which is mgl into cos theta 1 minus cos theta 2. This is the work done against the gravity. సో ఇక్కడ మనకి వర్టికల్ నుంచి థీటా యాంగిల్ టర్న్ చేసినప్పుడు కండిషన్ ఇది mgl ఇంటూ 1 మైనస్ కాస్ థీటా. ఒకవేళ ఇనీషియల్గా వర్టికల్ నుంచి థీటా 1 యాంగిల్ ఉండి ఫైనల్గా థీటా 2 యాంగిల్ చేసేలా టర్న్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇది కండిషన్. ఒకవేళ ఈ కేసులో మనకి పెండ్యులం కాకుండా ఒక యూనిఫామ్ రాడ్ ఉందనుకోండి. ఇక్కడ రాడ్ అనేది యూనిఫామ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ కాబట్టి రాడ్ టోటల్ మాస్ని మనం సెంటర్ ఆఫ్ గ్రావిటీలో అస్యూమ్ చేసుకోవాలి. సో అంటే ఇనీషియల్ ఎఫెక్టివ్ లెంగ్త్ ఆఫ్ ద రాడ్ ఎంత అవుతుంది? L/2. సో మనం థీటా యాంగిల్ టర్న్ చేసినప్పుడు రేజ్ అయిన హైట్ ఎంత అవుతుంది? H is equal to ఇక్కడ L ప్లేస్లో L/2 రాసుకుంటాం. L/2 ఇంటూ 1 మైనస్ కాస్ థీటా. సో వర్టికల్గా ఉన్నప్పుడు ఇనీషియల్ పొజిషన్, ఇనీషియల్ సెంటర్ ఆఫ్ గ్రావిటీని మనం రెఫరెన్స్ లైన్గా తీసుకుంటే ఇనీషియల్ పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ 0. సో ఫైనల్ పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు mgh. సో రేజ్ అయిన హైట్ ఇక్కడ ఎంతకి ఈక్వల్? L/2 ఇంటూ 1 మైనస్ కాస్ థీటా. సో వర్క్ డన్ బై ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ఏజెంట్ ఈజ్ ఫైనల్ పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ minus initial, which is equal to mg L/2 into 1 minus cos theta. Coming to the third application. ఈ అప్లికేషన్లో ఒక బకెట్ని యూజ్ చేసి మనం హెచ్ డెప్త్లో ఉన్న వాటర్ని వెల్ నుంచి లిఫ్ట్ చేస్తాం. సో హియర్ when we are lifting, how much work we are doing against the gravity, that we have to find. సో ఇక్కడ మనం వర్క్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయాలంటే ఫైనల్ పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ మైనస్ ఇనీషియల్ పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ. సో ఇనీషియల్గా బకెట్ అలాంగ్ విత్ ద మాస్ ఆఫ్ వాటర్ బాటంలో ఉందనుకోండి, ఇనీషియల్ పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ ఎంత అవుతుంది? 0. నెక్స్ట్ హెచ్ హైట్ లిఫ్ట్ చేసాం. సో ఫైనల్ పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ ఎంత అవుతుంది? ఇఫ్ మాస్ ఆఫ్ ద water along with the mass of the bucket m అనుకుంటే final potential energy mgh. Work done is nothing but final potential energy minus initial potential energy, which is equal to mgh. It is the work done to lift the bucket of water of mass m from the well of a depth h. Linear density of the rope is lambda. When the bucket has to be lifted to a height h, length of the rope must be h. So mass of rope is, what is linear density? Means mass per unit length. Then you can write mass is equal to linear density into length. So linear density into length of the rope equal to depth of the well. Then you can write the total work done. W is equal to, we have to lift a bucket of water. Work done to lift the bucket of water is mg into h plus work done to lift the rope mass. Here rope is a uniform object. Total mass of the rope is concentrated at the center. If you imagine mass of the rope at the center, how much height we have to lift? h/2. So work done to lift the rope is mgh. In this mass of the rope is lambda h g, and how much height it has to be lifted from the center of gravity to out of the h/2. So finally total work done is mgh. This is the work done to lift the mass of water, and work done to lift the rope is lambda g h square by 2. Is the total work done to lift the bucket of water Coming to the fourth application, దీంట్లో ఒక యూనిఫామ్ చైన్ మాస్ m, లెంగ్త్ l, ఒక ఫ్రిక్షన్లెస్ హారిజాంటల్ టేబుల్ మీద ప్లేస్ చేశారు. దీంట్లో l లెంగ్త్ ఉన్న పార్ట్ టేబుల్ నుంచి అవుట్ సైడ్ హ్యాంగ్ అయి ఉంది. ఇప్పుడు ఈ హ్యాంగ్ అయి ఉన్న పార్ట్ని మనం టేబుల్ మీదకి తీసుకురావాలంటే ఎంత వర్క్ చేయాలి? సో ఇక్కడ టేబుల్ సర్ఫేస్ని రిఫరెన్స్గా తీసుకుంటున్నాను. ఈ రిఫరెన్స్ నుంచి బిలో ద టేబుల్ లెంగ్త్ ఆఫ్ ద చైన్ ఎంత l. ఇది ఎక్స్టెండెడ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్. సో ఈ ఎక్స్టెండెడ్ పార్ట్ సెంటర్ ఆఫ్ మాస్ మనం సెంటర్లో ఎజ్యూమ్ చేసుకుంటే ఈ సెంటర్ ఆఫ్ హ్యాంగింగ్ పార్ట్ ఎంత డిస్టెన్స్లో ఉంది? l/2 బిలో ద టేబుల్ ఉంది. సో ఇక్కడ మనం పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ రాయాలంటే మాస్ ఆఫ్ ద హ్యాంగింగ్ పార్ట్ తెలిసి ఉండాలి. సో టోటల్ మాస్ క్యాపిటల్ M అనుకుంటే మనం హ్యాంగింగ్ పార్ట్ మాస్ ఎంత రాయొచ్చు? మనం మాస్ ఆఫ్ ద హ్యాంగింగ్ పార్ట్ స్మాల్ m అనుకున్నాను. మాస్ ఆఫ్ ద హ్యాంగింగ్ పార్ట్ వీ కెన్ రైట్ యాజ్ length of the hanging part into linear density. What is linear density? Means mass per unit length. Total mass of the chain is capital M by total length of the chain capital L. This is the mass of the hanging part. So the hanging part experiences a gravitational force mg. So center of gravity నుంచి మనం surface of the table కి లిఫ్ట్ చేస్తే మనం చైన్ని టేబుల్ మీద తీసుకొచ్చినట్టు. So work done to bring the hanging part back on the table is equal to final potential energy of the chain minus initial potential energy. So here initial potential energy of the chain here is equal to mg into h. mg into h అంటే ఎంత? l/2. ఇది ఎలా ఉంది? బిలో ద టేబుల్ ఉంది. సో బిలో ద టేబుల్ సర్ఫేస్ని మనం రిఫరెన్స్ అనుకున్నాం. బిలో ద టేబుల్ how to represent as minus. Now here m value is equal to small m into capital M by capital L into g into minus l/2. So initial potential energy is equal to minus mg l square by 2l, and final potential energy of the chain is equal to 0. ఎందుకని ఫైనల్గా చైన్ మొత్తం టేబుల్ మీదకి వచ్చినప్పుడు చైన్ మాస్ అంతా కూడా రిఫరెన్స్ లైన్ మీద ఉంది. రిఫరెన్స్ లైన్ మీద అంటే 0. ఫైనల్ పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ 0. Work done to bring the hanging part of the chain back onto the table. W is equal to final potential energy minus initial potential energy, which is equal to 0 minus of minus plus m g small l square by 2 into capital L. So finally we can write the total work done to bring the hanging part of the chain back on the table. W is equal to m g l square by 2 capital L. This is the expression. Power. It is the rate of work done. It explains how fast a person can able to do the work. Means it represents ability of doing work. In a process, we can measure the power by two ways. One is average power and the second one is instantaneous power. Coming to the average power, it is the total work done by total time taken. We know that according to work energy theorem, the total work done is equal to change in kinetic energy. So you can also write this as change in kinetic energy by total time taken. Means when a body of mass m starts with velocity u and after t seconds it acquires final velocity v, then change in kinetic energy we can write as half m into v square minus u square by t. For example, a gun fires n bullets in t seconds. Mass of each bullet is m and fired out with velocity v. Then average power of the gun we can write as average power of the gun is equal to total work done, that is half m into v square minus u square. Half mass of each bullet is small m, like that n bullets are fired. So number of bullets are n, mass of each bullet m, into final velocity with which they comes out v minus initial velocity 0 by the time taken here t. This is the average power of the gun, where n represents total number of bullets fired in a time of t seconds, small m mass of each bullet, and v is the velocity with which the bullets are fired from the gun. If you take another example, suppose from a well of depth h, a motor lifts the water and ejects out with velocity v, and rate of mass of the water that ejected by the motor is dm by dt. Then you can write average power of the motor is equal to total work done by total time taken. Here total work done is in two forms: work done to lift the water and work done to eject the water. Work done to lift the water of mass dm to a height h, you can write potential energy dm gh plus to eject the water with velocity v, work done half dm into v square minus u square, take initial velocity of water 0 by time taken dt seconds. This expression we can write as dm by dt of, this is the rate of mass of water that ejected out, into gh plus half v square. This is the average power of the motor. Coming to the second type of power, that is instantaneous power, power at an instant, that we can write as d by dt of w. dw is the work done at an instant of dt seconds. We can write dw as the dot product between force and displacement f bar dot ds bar by dt, where rate of displacement is nothing but velocity. Means we can write instantaneous power as the dot product between force and velocity. So depends on the angle between f and v, the power may be positive or negative. Coming to the example, gravel falls at constant rate on a conveyor belt that is moving horizontally with velocity v. The rate of falling of the gravel is dm by dt. Then the extra force required to drive the belt F is equal to dm by dt into v, and the extra power required to drive the belt at that instant, power required by the belt at that instant, P is equal to, we know that as F bar dot V bar, and we know that F is nothing but dm by dt into V is the F into V, same direction, force experienced and velocity both are in same direction, so theta is 0, cos 0 value 1. You can write extra power required by the belt to drive. Extra power required to drive the belt is dm by dt into V square. Another example, A car is moving with velocity v on a rough horizontal road where the coefficient of friction between the tires and the road is mu. Then frictional force experienced by the car is mu mg, where m is mass of the car. Then power expended by the engine to move against the friction is P is equal to F into V. The minimum force applied by the car to move with constant velocity must be equal to mu mg. So P is equal to force applied by the engine F into velocity V. They are in same direction. So theta 0. And what is the minimum force required to move against the friction? Mu mg. So at that instant, the power required by the engine to move against the friction is mu mg into